I'm waiting to see if they're going to turn the music down. Maybe I need to get started. Good morning. Everybody enjoy the breakfast? Hey. I'm Judy Espinoza. I serve as the Executive Director for Human Resources, and I want to thank you for joining us this morning to recognize and celebrate the employees that have reached a milestone service this year of 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. At this time, I'd like to introduce our president, Dr. Rick Muma. As you know, Dr. Muma's official inauguration as the 15th president of WSU occurs on Friday of this week. Recognizing our staff and their achievements is a priority for Dr. Muma, and it was at his request that we moved our events up a month this year to correspond with the week of his inauguration. We're very honored to have him here with us this morning and provide our opening remarks.
Thank you, Judy, and welcome everyone. How's everybody doing this morning? And got some great breakfast food back there. It's good to see you all in person. And as Judy mentioned about inauguration, I wanted to make sure that I started the week of inauguration. And let me just make sure you understand. Inauguration is really not about me. It's about this university and the fact that we're moving forward. But I wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to recognize your service here at the university. And I'd like to thank all of you for your dedicated service to Wichita State. And interestingly, collectively, there's 2,370 years of services are being recognized this year for those who've served 5 to 20 years. That's a lot of years. This evening, we'll take the time to celebrate our colleagues who have served 25 to 50 years, and those being inducted into the Bender of Twigs, and those who have served with dedication and reached retirement this year. When we add those years, it's 6,329 years. And I've been walking around earlier this morning, and to me, the longevity at the university is so important. It makes us who we are as an institution. So I'd like to congratulate all of you for your service achievements. We wouldn't be the university that we are today and that we've grown to be without your service here at the university. We have a great program this morning. Each college and division will be honoring their service inductees, and Judy will come back up here to talk more about the program and how it will work. So congratulations again, and look forward to seeing all the recognitions today.
Thanks, Rick. Before we get started, I'd like to congratulate all the honorees this morning being recognized for their dedication and service. Having employees that choose to serve in an organization for long periods of time, and I certainly think 5 to 20 years qualifies for that distinction, is a blessing for any organization. In addition to those of us that are here this morning, we have many faculty, staff, friends, and family participating in our celebration via live broadcast. Available through an online media link. And for those unavailable to join us in person or watch via the live broadcast, a video of this morning's ceremony will soon be available on our service recognition website to view at any time, today or in the future. We want to extend our gratitude to our media partners in the athletics department for their partnership with the audio, sound, and video stream that made this option available for us today. We're now ready to recognize our honorees, but first I want to explain the format for the program and provide a few instructions for those that are being honored, as well as our leaders that are helping us out with honoring them this morning. So the honorees will be announced and recognized by college or division commencement style. The college and division leadership have done an outstanding job by providing content that we have consolidated into a slideshow that we're very anxious to share with you this morning. When your college or division is announced, we ask that the dean or the division leader and all honorees of the college and division approach the stage in line up to the left side of the stage, my right side, and motion in that direction. They're telling me, motion in this direction. You guys line up on this side, and the slideshow with the highlights from your college or division will be playing as you move from your seat forward to the stage area. The dean or the division leader will come forward to the stage, and they will stand on the far side of the flower decorations that are up here. And they'll be there to greet you and have a photo opportunity. The photographer will be in front. If we have any participants that don't want to come onto the stage, you're welcome to come to the front and stand where you would if you were on the stage, and the leader will meet you for the photo opportunity. Each honoree will be individually recognized and announced alphabetically by name in order of the years of service, starting with 5 years. For those of you here this morning, we will see an honoree name, a number on your name tag. Should be a number on your name tag, and that is the place number in order of the honorees that will be announced. So when you line up, you'll try to get into that order. Don't worry, there are several HR business partners up here to help you get up in the right order if you need any assistance. Each honoree will receive their service certificate and their PIN via intercompany mail this week. You also have the opportunity to participate in a group photo after the recognition ceremony is over. The photographer will be in the area that's over by where the partners are sitting, and there are signs for each year of service that can be used in your group photo. So now we're ready to get the program started, and I'd like to introduce our MCs for the event. Whitney Bailey is the University Faculty Senate President, and Gabrielle Fonseca is the University Staff Senate President. We're very excited to have this dynamic duo here with us this morning, and I'm going to turn it over to them to take us through our recognition.
Good morning. Gabrielle and I would like to congratulate all of our honorees this morning who are being recognized for their dedication and service. We are honored and excited to be part of this ceremony.
We'd also like to thank our senators who volunteered to be here to assist with the event this morning, and for all those in the past couple of years who partnered with HR to create a recognition ceremony in line with the input of our senators received from our employees.
Now, let's get started. We will start with the Barton School of Business. We appreciate Dr. Jenin joining us this morning. The honorees from the Barton School of Business were not able to be with us in person this morning, so we will recognize each honoree and congratulate them as they watch the ceremony remotely. In the Barton School of Business, Christina McDonald, 5 years of service. Dwayne Nagel, 5 years of service. Patricia Bradley, 10 years of service. Michael Emhoff, 10 years of service. Anthony May, 10 years of service. Paula Sewart, 10 years of service. Kate McIntyre, 15 years of service, and Jerry Markova, 15 years of service. Let's give a big hand to all the honorees from the Barton School of Business. We now ask Dr. Clay Stolt and the honorees from the College of Applied Studies seated at Table 1 to please rise and approach the stage as we watch the video highlighting the achievements of the College of Applied Studies.
Whitney Bailey, 5 years of service. Bobby Berry, 5 years of service. Heidi Cornell, 5 years of service. Jim Granata, 10 years of service. Mark Vermillion, 15 years of service. And Kimberly Wilson, 15 years of service. Let's give a round of applause to all the honorees from the College of Applied Studies. We now ask Dr. Anthony Muscat and the honorees from the College of Engineering seated at Table 2 to please rise and approach the stage as we watch a video highlighting the College of Engineering.
the College of Engineering, Bisham Sharma, 5 years of service. Aaron Shields, 5 years of service. Visvakumar Aravindan, 10 years of service. Anil Mahapatro, 10 years of service. Ramazan Asmatulu, 15 years of service. Kelly Gurick, 15 years of service. And Michael Jorgensen, 20 years of service. Let's give a hand to all the honorees from the College of Engineering. We now ask Dr. Rodney Miller and the honorees from the College of Fine Arts seated at table 3 to please rise and approach the stage as we watch the video highlighting the College of Fine Arts.
From the College of Fine Arts, Tana Birchinall, 5 years of service. Kristen Castaldi, 5 years of service. Emily Christensen, 5 years of service. Marco Hernandez, 5 years of service. Carmen Leomoni, 5 years of service. Timothy Shade, 5 years of service. Kelly St. Pierre, 5 years of service. Michael Sylvester, 5 years of service. Jeb Wallace, 5 years of service. Danette Baker, 10 years of service. Lynn Davis, 15 years of service. Mark Laycock, 15 years of service. David Neville, 15 years of service. And Stacy Salters, 20 years of service. Let's give a round of applause to the honorees from the College of Fine Arts. We now ask Dr. Vancella McCleary-Jones and the honorees from the College of Health Professions seated at table 4 to please rise and approach the stage as we watch a video highlighting the College of Health Professions.
We're not sure how each of you did with the College of Health Professions trivia, but I definitely just beat Gabe. So let's honor the honorees from the College of Health Professions. Susie Jacks, 5 years of service. Gina Riggs, 5 years of service. Jamie Stokeskoff, 5 years of service. Stephen Arnold, 10 years of service. Jennifer Celso, 10 years of service. Sean Hess, 10 years of service. Janelle Mayer, 10 years of service. Lisa Belt, 15 years of service. Teresa Conrad, 15 years of service. Terry Core, 15 years of service. Christina Folkarts, 15 years of service. Gina Stewart, 15 years of service. Shauna Olberding, 15 years of service. Kelly Anderson, 20 years of service. Mary Farragher, 20 years of service. Sandra Goldsmith, 20 years of service. And Amy Ham, 20 years of service. Let's give a big round of applause to all the honorees from the College of Health Professions. We now ask Dr. Jeremy Patterson and the honorees from the College of Innovation and Design seated at table 5 to please rise and approach the stage as we watch the video highlighting the College of Innovation and Design.
Okay, that one was loud. It felt like it wanted to be there. From the College of Innovation and Design, Kristen Smith, 5 years of service. Let's give a round of applause to the honorees for the College of Innovation and Design. And we now ask Dr. Brian Bolin and the honorees from the Fairmont College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, seated at table 6, to please rise and approach the stage as we watch a video highlighting the Fairmont College of Liberal Arts and Sciences.
From the Fairmount College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Jade Bryan, 5 years of service. Anthony Calvert, 5 years of service. Blake Sissons, 5 years of service. Nicholas Endicott, 5 years of service. David Clam, 5 years of service. Mithaly Menon, 5 years of service. Kelly Smetak, 5 years of service. Neil Allen, 10 years of service. Mariah Beck, 10 years of service. Kristen Brewer, 10 years of service. Mary Cambridge, 10 years of service. Melinda Dufresne, 10 years of service. Nancy Crabell, 10 years of service. Shauna Miller, 10 years of service. Jessica Newman, 10 years of service. Charlene Small, 10 years of service. Samuel Taylor, 10 years of service. Robert Weems, 10 years of service. Lee Yao, 10 years of service. Robin Henry, 15 years of service. Kevin Langenwalter, 15 years of service. Debbie Neal, 15 years of service. Marcia Norton, 15 years of service. Melissa Walker, 15 years of service. Carrie Jones, 20 years of service. Sufin Liu, 20 years of service. Lisa Parcell, 20 years of service. Will Parcell, 20 years of service. Let's give a hand to celebrate all the honorees from the Fairmount College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. We now ask Dr. Kay Mock-Morgan and the honorees from Strategic Enrollment and Planning, seated at the two tables, number 7, to please rise and approach the stage as we watch the video highlighting the Strategic Enrollment and Planning.
From the Division of Strategic Engagement and Planning, Chad Childs, 5 years of service. Mark Ernest, 5 years of service. Nicole Freand, 5 years of service. James Fryer, 5 years of service. Pearlnisha Green, 5 years of service. Raquel Houston, 5 years of service. Brett Lokert, 5 years of service. Carrie McHammond, 5 years of service. Chantel Thompson, 5 years of service. Seth Bates, 15 years of service. Manny Soria, 15 years of service. Stephanie Haynes, 20 years of service. And Wilma Holloway, 20 years of service. Let's give a round of applause to all the honorees from the Division of Strategic Engagement and Planning. We now ask Dr. Kathy Downs and the honorees from the university libraries seated at table 8 to please rise and approach the stage as we watch a video highlighting the university libraries.
From University Libraries, Faye O'Reilly, 5 years of service. Sarah Rue, 5 years of service. And Kelsey Unruh, 5 years of service. Let's give a round of applause to all the honorees from university libraries. We now ask Dr. Shirley Lefevre and the honorees from the Division of Academic Affairs seated at the 3 tables, number 9, to please rise and approach the stage as we watch the video highlighting the Division of Academic Affairs.
All right, from the Division of Academic Affairs, from KMUW, Jordan Kirtley, 5 years of service. Fletcher Powell, 10 years of service. And Jessica Treadwell, 15 years of service. From the Office of Academic Affairs, Janice Hudson, 5 years of service. Lydia Santiago, 10 years of service. Carolyn Shaw, 20 years of service. From the Office of Research, Young Chao Lee, 5 years of service. And Sarah Hagee, 10 years of service. From the Ulrich Museum, James Porter, 10 years of service. Ranjit Arab, 15 years of service. From Workforce Professional and Community Education, Tarika Mitchell, 10 years of service. And Anita Edwards, 15 years of service. From WSU West, Brandon Schneider, 5 years of service. From Strategic Enrollment Management, Amber Anderson, 5 years of service. John Calabro, 5 years of service. Chandra Crawley, 5 years of service. Tessa Downs, 5 years of service. Amanda Duffy, 5 years of service. Laura Garcia, 5 years of service. Rebecca Haas, 5 years of service. Heather Hill, 5 years of service. Cindy Horton, 5 years of service. Emily Cribbs, 5 years of service. Casey Miller, 5 years of service. Tara Park, 5 years of service. Kelly Slayton, 5 years of service. Kylie Johnson, 10 years of service. Tia Owens, 10 years of service. Jesse Pitchford, 10 years of service. Marsha Walter, 10 years of service. Tanya Baldwin, 15 years of service. Ann Berger, 15 years of service. Crystal Dilbick, 15 years of service. Angela Linder, 20 years of service. And Lucio Portley, 20 years of service. Let's give a round of applause for all the honorees from the Division of Academic Affairs. We now ask Dr. Terry Hall and the honorees from the Division of Student Affairs seated at table 10 to please rise and approach the stage as we watch a video highlighting the Division of Student Affairs.
From the Child Development Center, Autumn Bergkamp, 5 years of service. From Counseling Services, Jessica Provines, 15 years of service. From Housing and Residence Life, Allison Babb, 5 years of service. Jennifer Bayer, 5 years of service. Amanda Craven, 5 years of service. Brandon Eckler, 5 years of service. Daniel Ruid, 5 years of service. And Jose Alonso, 10 years of service. From the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, Quang Nguyen, 5 years of service. Alicia Sanchez, 10 years of service. From the Radigan Student Center, Michelle Gillenwater, 5 years of service. From Student Health Services, Christine Hayes, 5 years of service. And Sandra Hill, 5 years of service. From WSU Crew, Rachel Tuck, 5 years of service. Let's give a big round of applause to all the honorees from the Division of Student Affairs. Even if Dr. Terry Hall took a little longer to give everybody a hug. I haven't gotten one today, Terry. We now ask David Miller and the honorees from the Division of Finance and Administration, seated at the 2 tables numbered 11, to please rise and approach the stage as we watch the video highlighting the Division of Finance and Administration.
From the Division of Finance and Administration, from Administrative Services, Megan J., 5 years of service. And Ryan Kingsley, 5 years of service. From Facility Services, Andrea Beldula, 5 years of service. Andrew Clem, 5 years of service. Darlene Estelle Matos, 5 years of service. Brandon Gonzalez, 5 years of service. Carl Hearn, 5 years of service. Brian McCord, 5 years of service. Derek Miles, 5 years of service. Makiba Powell, 5 years of service. Anne-Marie Renalault, 5 years of service. James Robinson, 5 years of service. Gail Sanford, 5 years of service. Lucas Simmons, 5 years of service. Sean Williams, 5 years of service. Glenn Williams, 10 years of service. Lua Bowie, 15 years of service. Augustine Collard, 15 years of service. Matt Houston, 15 years of service. Lee Wynn, 15 years of service. Rebecca Abraham, 20 years of service. Mui Dong, 20 years of service. And Nicholas Atenyo, 20 years of service. From Financial Operations, Sarah Unruh, 5 years of service. Christy Courtney, 15 years of service. And Teresa Tarini, 20 years of service. From Human Resources, Judy Espinoza, 5 years of service. And Julie Wyndham, 10 years of service. Oh, that was rough. From Information Technology, John Alexander, 5 years of service. Anita Barrett, 5 years of service. Michael Deely, 5 years of service. Corey Martins, 5 years of service. Cameron McKinney, 5 years of service. Jessica Wallace, 5 years of service. Jean Patton, 10 years of service. Daniel Araya, 15 years of service. James Rogers, 15 years of service. Patricia Soff, 15 years of service. Jessica Wolf, 15 years of service. Joseph Hutto, 20 years of service. And Shelly Tatel, 20 years of service. From the WSU Police Department, Brandon Dorian, 5 years of service. Benjamin Gable, 5 years of service. And Nathaniel Johnson, 5 years of service. Let's give a big round of applause to the honorees from the Division of Finance and Administration. We now ask Dr. John Tomlin and the honorees from the Division of Industry and Defense Programs seated at the 3 table 12s to please rise and approach the stage as we watch a video highlighting the Division of Industry and Defense Programs.
From Innovar Technology Solutions, Thomas Rose, 5 years of service. From Training and Technology Team, Harris Kahn, 10 years of service. Finney Christensen, 15 years of service. From the National Institute for Aviation Research, Anushi Amaranakya, 5 years of service. Russell Baldridge, 5 years of service. Justina Calbert, 5 years of service. Luis Castillo Tejeda, 5 years of service. John Hansen, 5 years of service. Dustin Jacobson, 5 years of service. Gregory Leslie, 5 years of service. Zhang Yeo Lo, 5 years of service. Mackenzie Lovell, 5 years of service. Boongong Lua, 5 years of service. Jacob Maddox, 5 years of service. Sean McAdam, 5 years of service. Kritutash Pinyon Tupong, 5 years of service. Marcus Piles, 5 years of service. Nuan Silva, 5 years of service. Harsh Shah, 5 years of service. Tyler Smith, 5 years of service. Alexander Smitley, 5 years of service. Nicole Stahl, 5 years of service. Joseph Taylor, 5 years of service. Andrew Fisher, 10 years of service. Keith Fitzgerald, 10 years of service. Robert Fries, 10 years of service. Tracy Hart, 10 years of service. Paul Jonas, 10 years of service. Shaku Liang, 10 years of service. Michelle Mann, 10 years of service. Stephen McClendon, 10 years of service. Chris Rempe, 10 years of service. Kimberly Reuter, 10 years of service. Mohammed Shafi, 10 years of service. Lindsay Seipolt, 10 years of service. Joel White, 10 years of service. Elizabeth E., 15 years of service. Jack Wong, 15 years of service. Brian Matson, 15 years of service. Michelle McAdam, 15 years of service. Eric Nielsen, 15 years of service. Upal Paliuguru, 15 years of service. Vincent Tanato, 15 years of service. John Luffinen, 20 years of service. Waruran Seun Viratni, 20 years of service. From Strategic Initiatives Institute, Ty Masterson, 5 years of service. from the Office of Research, Bethany Euler, 10 years of service. Let's give a hand to all the honorees from the Division of Industry and Defense Programs. We now ask President Rick Muma and the honorees from the Division of the President, seated at table 13, to please rise and approach the stage as we watch the video highlighting the Division of the President.
From the President's Office, Zachary Gearhart, 5 years of service. Let's give a round of applause to the honoree from the Division of the President. We now ask Shelley Coleman Martin, seated at table 13, who's ready over here, from the Division of Strategic Communications, to rise and approach to the stage as we watch a video highlighting the Division of Strategic Communications.
Since Shelley is the divisional leader for strategic communications, we couldn't have her take a photo by herself, so she's going to stand with President Muma. Shelley Coleman Martin's 5 years of service. Let's give Shelley one more round of applause for her service to WSU. We would now like to ask Darren Boatwright and the honorees from Wichita State Athletics, seated at table 13, to please rise and approach the stage as we watch the video highlighting Wichita State Athletics.
From the Division of Athletics, Tyra Berger, 5 years of service. John Bryan, 5 years of service. Tyler Good, 5 years of service. Alejandra Heineman, 5 years of service. Elizabeth Ekaman, 10 years of service. And Heidi Benton, 15 years of service. Let's give one more round of applause to the honorees from WSU Athletics. The honoree from the Alumni Association was not able to be with us in person this morning, but we'll recognize our honoree and congratulate them as they watch the ceremony remotely.
From the Alumni Association, Juanita Reed, 15 years of service. We now ask Dr. Elizabeth King and the honorees from the WSU Foundation, seated at table 13, to please rise and approach the stage as we watch a video highlighting the Wichita State University Foundation.
From the WSU Foundation, Magnus Asarin, 5 years of service. Susan Barrett, 5 years of service. Juanita Fonseca Rodriguez, 5 years of service. And Kelsey Yadon, 5 years of service. Let's give a hand to all the honorees from the WSU Foundation. And let's give one more big round of applause for everyone for their service today. At this time, we'll turn it back over to President Muma to close out our program.
Well, so how about another round of applause? I'd like to take this moment to thank so many people who've been planning for this, the preparation and participation, all of you here today, but especially our MCs, Whitney Bailey and Gabriel Fonseca. Great job. Our Senate volunteers who help escort folks from one place to the next. The Shocker Store for making gift selection possible. And if you haven't noticed on your email, those that received recognition today have an email. I went and used mine over the weekend, so don't forget to do that. The HR staff for their preparation assistance this evening, WSU Athletics for preparing the arena, academic affairs and financial operations for paying for this event, and don't forget one more time to don't forget to use your Shocker Store credit. So have a good rest of your day and congratulations.